Has Joe Burrow gone from one of the most popular and best quarterbacks in the NFL to under the radar? Has the NFL forgot about Joe? Let's answer that question right now on Cincinnati Bengals Talk. Hi again, everyone, and welcome in to CBT. I'm James Rapien of BengalsTalk.com. Hit that subscribe button, ring the bell, and make sure you check out Enter the Jungle every Tuesday at 8 Eastern right here on CBT Weekly on Bally Sports. Andrew Fox Miller and I are coming to you weekly, and, well, it's not going to change when the season is here. So make sure you subscribe, ring the bell, and let's get into it. We saw it. Everybody saw it. Joe Burrow goes on Pardon My Take, and it was really cool. And he was upfront about a ton of topics. We've written about a bunch of them, whether it's Russ Heltman or myself at BengalsTalk.com. But the one that's making the rounds, and I'm going to play it for you in a second, has to do with the wrist injury, has to do with Burrow coming back from the wrist injury, has to do with ranking season. And so here is a clip, a smidge, and odds are you've probably seen this quote somewhere. We put it on our socials on Monday. We put it on BengalsTalk.com. It made the rounds everywhere. But Joe Burrow definitely feels like he's going under the radar.
Do you think people have forgotten about Joe Burrow?
I believe that.
Yeah.
That's what happens when you get hurt, though. You don't play football, people forget about you.
Yeah, which I like the spot you're in right now because I feel like
I love the spot I'm in.
Yeah, like AFC, everyone's like, oh, well, you know, Josh, Lamar, and Patrick, CJ Stroud. It's like you're forgetting one guy.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
But again, that's part of the game. If you're not out there and people aren't watching you, then there's nothing to talk about.
Yeah.
So I'm going to give people something to talk about this year. I'm excited about it.
I think it's a very good position. He loves the position he's in, right? And I think when I think of elite athletes, high-end athletes, special talents, the greatest to play specific positions, and maybe you want to say, all right, well, Steph Curry or LeBron James or Michael Jordan or Tom Brady or whoever. The thing that you never want to do is count them out. And I don't think that most people are counting Joe out. The thing is, though, that you better believe that he feels, and you could hear it in his voice, he feels well, Joe's always injured. Well, this team, they're not going to be able to protect Joe. That was a one-hit wonder a few years ago. They're not going to be able to be the same. All of these things. And I think if you subscribe to this channel, some of you might have rolled your eyes on the idea that the NFL has forgotten about Joe Burrow. But I hear much more about his injury, about his health, about the way the offense looked last year at the start of the season, about the way he went down on a short week in Baltimore, than I do about what they did in San Francisco or what they did when the Bengals won 4 straight games, or the fact that Burrow, despite the offense and the defense not playing their best game against CJ Stroud in Houston, had the go-ahead touchdown pass and put the go-ahead touchdown pass right in Tyler Boyd's hands, and it gets dropped. They have to tie the game, and then Houston goes on to win. All of those things are things I think that people forget about. Joe Burrow had to battle through some stuff last year, and health is without a doubt a question mark. I also have no doubt that Joe Burrow is going to bounce back, that Joe Burrow is going to be one of the greatest quarterbacks in the league this year, one of the best quarterbacks in the league. I should use best, not great. Great, you're talking historical best. You're talking this year. I have no doubt about that. And it has really nothing to do with it being this being a Bengals channel. It's more of all right, well, let's look at Burrow's history. Let's look at league history. Let's look at whatever you want. He's 27. He's not 47. So let's start there. Let's look at what happened the last time Burrow suffered a season-ending injury, one that really impacted him all offseason to a much different degree than this wrist did. He was able to, and he described this on the podcast, he was able to work out all offseason. He was working out with the wrist wrapped still during the year after undergoing surgery in November. Obviously, he couldn't do stuff with that hand and that arm for a while, but he was able to do a lot of his workouts. He was able to stay in shape. He's added weight. He's added strength. and he is in a really, really good spot. And I think back to 2021 when this team was, well, we really didn't know what it was. They were trying to get over the hump after really struggling for a couple of years. Joe Burrow was coming back from that injury, and what did they do? They went out and started 5-3. They showed everyone that they were a legitimate playoff contender at the time. And obviously, they won the AFC North. They made it to the Super Bowl. And I don't think anyone expected that at that time. But Burrow went from winning a national championship and being on top of the world, winning the Heisman, being the number one pick, to later that year, in December of that year, posting, "It's a good day for the Bengals," because he could walk again. Because he took his first steps post ACL surgery, post knee reconstruction surgery after getting hurt in Washington. Like, that's the roller coaster that he's been on. And what did he do? He responded. In the very next year, the Bengals went to the Super Bowl. So do I have any doubt that Burrow is going to respond the right way now and handle his business and be in amazing shape and be firing on all cylinders? I don't. In fact, it's my expectation. I know that's his expectation. So why shouldn't it be our expectation for him to be an elite quarterback? I expect that. I think it. And as far as him going under the radar, if you want to forget about Joe, go ahead. Do it at your own peril. I'm not going to do it. I would be very cautious if you're looking at the Bengals and saying, Joe's the problem. I think Joe is going to have one heck of a year. And we can wait for season predictions and all of that and stat line predictions. Plenty of time for that. It's still just early July. But I do think that Joe Burrow has been slept on a little bit this offseason. And I do think he's poised to remind everyone who he is and how great he is as a quarterback. Make sure you check out Enter the Jungle on Tuesday night at 8 Eastern right here on CBT, every Tuesday on CBT. For Andrew Fox Miller, I'm James Rapien. For more on the Bengals, go to bengalstalk.com. And as always, thank you so much for watching Cincinnati Bengals Talk.